Let's take you across the seas now to the Expo 2020 Dubai, which comes to an end today. The global showpiece has attracted dozens of heads of state while allowing millions of visitors to connect. Now, as we take stock of South Africa's contribution, we look back at two salient conversations that Newzroom Afrika brought our viewers. One with the President of Namibia and the other with South Africa's very own President Cyril Ramaphosa. Ayanda Nyathi sat down with both statesmen and he joins us now from Dubai to reflect on these conversations. Ayanda, before I ask you what stood out for you when you had the conversations with the two presidents, do you know how to pronounce the name of the Namibian president? He has a very difficult name. And I'm doing that just to trip you up. Take us back to what you heard from the two presidents.
I'll actually start with that. Interestingly enough, before we actually spoke, he mentioned that the only person that he's ever allowed to mispronounce his name is the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. Outside of that, he insists that you say it properly, and so luckily I've had my own lessons too, is Hake Geingob. He is in fact the third president of Namibia. I think he's entering his second term actually, because he became president in 2015 on the 21st of March. Interesting conversations I had with both statesmen, and you know, because there are such clear similarities and differences between these two countries. For one, Namibia and South Africa both went through colonialism and apartheid, and this has had a devastating impact on the economic outcomes, especially of young people in both countries. The youth unemployment rate in Namibia, for instance, in the last count was about 37%. South Africa's, of course, is way higher at around 57%. And so you can imagine the type of questions I was posing to both presidents is, what are you hoping will emerge from your country's participation here at Expo, specifically for young people? The answers, dare I say, actually were quite predictable. They're hoping, of course, that there'll be some kind of trickle-down effect from the kind of conversations that take place in boardrooms, specifically for young people. It was interesting to note, though, that both presidents couldn't be pinned down on specific timelines of when we can finally hold them accountable for these economic outcomes having a material change on young people's lives. The differences are obviously also quite big. I mean, Namibia, for one, is a population of about 2.5 million people. The last count that South Africa had, we tallied about 56 odd million people in this country. We know, of course, that currently we're on the tail end of our census there back at home.
I know. Ayanda Nyathi, I would have wanted just a taste of what came out of those conversations, but I suspect we'll do that some other time. For the time being, let's leave it there. The closing ceremony, hopefully, is going to be taking place, and as things shut down in Dubai. Thank you very much to my colleague, Ayanda Nyathi, at the tail end of what has been a very good run, as many of the people that attended the Expo 2020 Dubai have been telling us.